True Peace Kens. It is June 15th, 2020, and I am back at y'all with another one. And if you trying to stay ahead of the game, you should subscribe to Peep the Slang. The future of voice. That's the headline, Peep the Slang. No one could have predicted the extent to which the world could work remotely when pushed, and now we are enjoying the benefit. It highlights how technology plays a key role providing secure logging onto systems, remote collaboration, and biometrics, particularly voice. All this was only possible because companies and governments fast tracked implementation projects in just weeks that would have taken months or years pre COVID 19. Voice biometry has progressed from a simple security add-on to being an enabler for remote communications. And with good reason, the best voice biometrics engines are extremely fast and can verify the speaker after just 3 seconds with 90% accuracy. Just 2 months ago, there was a big difference between countries in adoption or getting ready for the adoption of voice biometry. Some countries were already under attack from hackers and fraudsters in the voice channel, especially where a lot of communication take place over the phone, especially USA, UK, and Western Europe. These countries were gradually adopting additional security layers to try to prevent fraudsters attacking their weakest customer touchpoint, call centuries. But fast forward to now, with coronavirus and the digitalization of society is speeding up frenetically. Through necessity, whole nations have made steps up in a matter of weeks that may previously have taken years. For example, using tools for remote communication, companies are providing new remote services, and governments are trying to collect and support data through online channels and call centers. Rather than in person, this digitalization is speeding up understanding of the need for voice biometrics for many companies. If they want to communicate over the phone, the experience must be good and should be cost effective, as well as provide the additional security layer that was missing. Cost savings through voice verification. Cost savings through voice verification. Cost cutting is another key driver for automated voice verification. It can shorten each call by 20 to 90 seconds. These costs are going to be even more important to companies in the company economic crisis in the call center. Example, with 50 employees, call duration is average 3 minutes. Authentication is shortened by 20 seconds. 5,000 calls per day, saving 28 hours daily. That's equivalent to a total savings of at least 2,500 daily. Voice bots and voice first future. Voice bots and a voice first future. Going a stage further, helpful voice bots mean up to 1/3 of a call can be automated, enabling further cost savings for companies. This is an important piece of the puzzle, which, together with authentication, offers the verified caller a self service mode where they can solve their problem over the voice channel. And it's not just for information retrieval, but for proper transaction. For example, with e-commerce brands, currently many of their call centers are overwhelmed by people calling about the status of their orders, and they have needed to take on extra agents to deal with it. Research shows that up to 1/3 of calls are routine and thus can be automated by voice bots. Today it's just simple use cases that can be solved confidently, but the future potential is huge. In fact, there will soon be a voice first future, not just externally for customers, but internally too. Imagine voice bots that can provide real time supported communications, such as corporate information during a meeting. Help can be provided from a live voice assistant, like an auto doing a text search. For example, a smart speaker can be doing that job and transferring the data to the nearest display in the office. Or imagine the latest interactive display where your desk or window will become the ideal screen for your enterprise digital assistant. These enterprise digital assistants are powered by VoiceBox, safely assessing your company knowledge base, which obviously need to be in a secure cloud or on premise. This type of technology has applications across many sectors. Use cases are appearing constantly as coronavirus is forcing the issue around the digitalization of society. Utility providers, for example, could use this for their field service technician. A daily assistant voice box can help them dictate notes directly into their ERP system via voice. Another example is health assistance for dentists and doctors. Some practitioners are already working remotely during the coronavirus outbreak and can consult with patients over the phone. Introducing a voice bot can help with basic requests and escalate to doctors if required once a caller has been authenticated. It makes a compelling case for decision makers. If companies can increase the amount of service work staff can do by 10 to 15% securely and cost effectively, then why wouldn't they? Voice from a security background. Voice from a security background. The current voice technology available in the market often has its roots in the security sector. The help that Phoenixia gave to, hold on, let me get this word first. Gotta have it right. Phonexia gave to Germany's Federal Criminal Police. Okay, let me get this word too, y'all. Bundeskriminalamt. Who? Bundeskriminalamt. Bundeskriminalamt. Okay, for example, is connected to the current commercial threat environment. Not long ago, a group of hackers stole personal data and managed to hack 300 accounts by creating profiles targeting older people, e.g., birth dates, addresses, etc. They tried to spear phishing technique, pretending to be real customers calling into a bank called Sentry. A similar technique was used during a DDoS attack on a bank to disable their internet services, so transactions had to move to the voice channel. During the chaos, agents are panicking and more likely not to follow the correct security procedures with callers, an ideal time for criminals to strike. In both cases, Phonexia helped to identify scammers through speech technologies, and they used it as evidence for supportive material for a judge to show the likelihood of the criminal being identified. Of course, with increased social engineering, more fraudsters will try to hack through the weakest touch point. And if it's just a few simple questions, that's still the call central. There are still enough people that don't use internet banking to make it worth the hackers' while. Such proven tech from the police sector brings power to customers in the commercial sector so they can protect themselves from criminals. The tech beneath is essentially the same, but with an extra layer on top to make it easier to deploy. Fraud grows in a recession. Fraud grows in a recession. With the level of fraud expected to grow significantly, voice verification can also help prevent customer backlisting. If hackers steal a personal identity, it's easy for them to attempt to get a loan over the phone. Here, voice verification can help protect both the loan providers and customers. Better risk management can therefore provide better interest rates for customers. We have already seen banks closing branches as they rely more on apps, remote transactions, and telephone transactions. They also need to protect themselves when a bank calls you to check for potential fraudulent transactions. They need to know it's really you they are speaking to. Also, with more contracts being signed remotely, this could be done over the phone with some verification of the identity and voice signature. Companies should, however, note that they must not rely on one biometric to ensure total security. There must be multiple layers. In summary, following the coronavirus outbreak, people see it's possible to do more things remotely. They are starting to think of new concepts, taking the same service but looking at it in different ways and creating a totally new service. And the voice channel has a potentially huge part to play. As a voice automation and security tech brand, we are helping to make the voice first future happen. We want to have a global impact and provide voice robots to help people to do their daily jobs where a personal touch is needed. And this is not far away. About the author, Michael Harabi is a CEO. Let me get the name for you. Get the name for you. German. Michael Rabi. Michael Rabi is a CEO of Phoenixia, which develops global technologies for voice identification, voice verification, and voice analysis. Michael joined Phoenixia in 2014 after spending many years as an entrepreneur and business advisor. True peace.